Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character listener by me, so let's get into it. Kazuha. Kazuha may not seem like it, but as hugs, they are the best thing in the world, and the most reassuring too. You just didn't know how you could do this, because somehow, with just one touch, one arm around you, with the way he would smile at you so softly, and somehow, all your worries would disappear and vanish, going to a faraway plane as you melted into his arms and fell asleep pretty quickly. So, really, sleeping with Kaza could be a true cure to insomnia too. That is just how relaxing he was. And if you were ever having difficulty sleeping, then he was going to stay up with you. He too experienced those nights where he felt sleepless and weary. But if it helps, he will simply read you a story or recite a rhyme, or at the very least, spend those nights where you couldn't get yourself to sleep by your side. Albedo. It all really depended on whether or not Albedo was working on a project. So, if he was working on something that was very important and taking up all of his attention, then it would be harder to get him to sleep, and you may just have to sleep alone. But if you can convince him, or if he's not busy in the first place, then that will be a piece of cake, because then you can have Albedo in your arms and sleep soundly as he holds you. He would have that habit of stroking your hair gently, so absent-mindedly, as he tries to drift off to sleep. Little did he know that always made you so happy, because whenever you had headaches, or some thoughts wandering around in your head and making you lose it, that touch of his, the way his fingers gently scratch along your scalp, it makes you so relaxed and so happy that it almost makes all your problems go away, letting you sleep soundly by his side. Venti? Venti was someone who had zero schedules, and that also was correct when it came to sleep as well. What do you mean actually sleep at a set time and wake up early? That kinda sounded like nonsense to him. But whatever, he will do what makes you happy, and if it means sleeping by your side and holding you in his arms, then he will do it. Especially if you're having trouble sleeping. After all, Venti only wants to see you smile, and to be the reason behind your happiness, not your worries or lack of sleep. So he may just happen to agree to put whatever schedule you have, just so you can peacefully sleep within his arms. And even though you won't admit it at first, perhaps it's kind of relaxing like this, to have something that's a bit of a routine in his life, and to be able to wake up with you in his arms and seeing your beautiful face. Scaramouche. Scaramouche is an absolute menace to society, but that doesn't mean he doesn't like cuddling and sleeping in your arms, or the other way around. But still, it's kind of difficult to admit, and even more difficult to get used to. However, once you tell him you want to sleep in his arms, since it helps you sleep better, he takes that as a chance to be the one to act like he didn't want to do this. After all, he's wanted to sleep in your arms for a while. But it was kind of difficult to admit that he wanted this, and not the other way around. So now you've solved this problem, and he was quite delighted to be able to cuddle you, since he too struggled with being able to sleep, and he thought that you being in his arms would totally solve the problem. Tighnari, he would indulge in this. I mean, he already loves getting ready to sleep, so it means he will have some herbs that will help with calming you down and relaxing you, and the two of you will drink them before going to bed in his arms. And even better, he's the best cuddle partner because he has his tail wrapped around you. It's so fluffy and so warm. And honestly, It makes you feel at peace, just being surrounded by him. And it's a win-win, because he loves cuddling you too, to him. So being able to sleep and wake up to you by his side as he holds you, the sun shining gently on your face, and making you look like an angel, it certainly was a perk, not something that he was upset about. So, no wonder he would really be in for it. Xiao? Xiao is an absolute sweetheart, but sleeping next to you proves to be a problem. He has many nightmares. He moves a lot in his sleep. So you telling him that you want to sleep in his arms because it makes you feel safer. It's heartwarming, but it still does not help with any of his fears or worries. So the thing that he does, it's pretty simple. He barely sleeps. He holds you and makes sure to protect you, mostly from himself. But once you wake up one day and realize that he has not slept at all, you tell him that you can't keep doing this, and that you won't sleep next time if it won't make him sleep at all. But then, you try the other way around, telling him that you won't let him hurt you, and you'll be the one holding him instead, and see if he even hurts you in his sleep. And thankfully nothing happens, and it goes on that way for a few nights. With you, mostly staying up to watch him, but then soon succumbing to the call of sleep. And that's how you got to a point with him being able to peacefully hold you in his arms and fall asleep. Thankfully, it all worked out in the end. Child would be the one to suggest this. He loves holding you and cuddling with you. After all, he was an extremely cuddly person. So who thinks he's going to skip out on that? In fact, it's one of the things he fantasized about before he even started being a little bit more official and getting closer. So, of course, he would love to have you sleep in his arms. And sometimes he would even hum a lullaby. Some lullabies you didn't even know, and some he even made up himself. Being an older brother does that to you. And since he indulges in taking care of his siblings, he has learned quite a few lullabies, and he's quite good at humming them too, even to the point of getting you to be able to fall asleep when you were not able to. It was truly wonderful. And if anything, the way he adores you, and the way he holds you in his sleep, and wakes you up with the gentlest of kisses, and a look of pure love from his eyes, they truly make him the best boyfriend in the world.